Hello everybody! So today is my 10th anniversary as a certified open water. I started diving when I was about 10. I started diving because there were a man who offered us to try scuba diving in the place where my mom took my sister and I skiing. So I started diving in the mountains in Champs in France. First of all, we just did a couple of initiation. So we did one, we did two, we did five, and at some point Will just said to my mom, look, they are so good, they just need to try scuba diving. So my mom said yes. Thank you, Mary. So we came back the year after that and we did all the theory in the afternoon. After our morning session of ski, we did scuba diving in the afternoon, a couple of swimming pool stuff, and we came back the next summer so we can have our natural area stuff. And we got certified the 24th of August of 2007. So I thought it was a good idea to just came back on where I've been for the past 10 years, what were my diving experiences. So without further ado, let's get started. So here is my first dive vlog. As you can see, it's pretty used, as I can say. I started as a PADI open water, so that's why you have the PADI one. But right now I'm a SSC dive master, so I changed school. If you want to know more about scuba school, there is a link that should appear in the top. I was certified in 2007. Here is baby nail. I was 13 at that time. Still have braces and a weird haircut. Here is my first ever dive. I had a semi-dried suit because it was really cold. Actually, it was 4 degrees Celsius in the air, so the water was more hot than the temperature. And then we went to La Fray, which is more deep. It's 12 to 20 meter deep. Oh, I almost forgot that. Here in the comment section you can say things, and here I said, my little sister forgot her dry suit, so she had to dive with mine. Marine arrived at the lake and said, oh, but mom didn't put my suit in the bag and she had to borrow mine. But because I already dived with it and because it was so big for her, yeah, she was about 10 at the time. So yeah, that's funny. So my dad wanted to start diving with us, so we started having one dive a month in the swimming pool. Yeah, as you can see on this one, this was like a throwback on the open water just to check our skills. And then that was my first ice diving. Usually in the Lac Robert what you do is ice diving. I really wanted to do that, and that was 5 days before my birthday, and I loved it. This was the most amazing dive I've ever done. They have this complete facial mask that you can put on, so you don't need to be able to swim or to have a diving license to do it. So after that we started having advanced and adventure diver dive. So this one in St. Martin, at that time I didn't use a dry suit, I had like a rash guard on me. So I can remember, so we did the fish identification dive, we did the boat dive, and the navigation one. So that was our 3 specialty that we could do in the Caribbean. So after it we had this beautiful card, and then we went in the summer in Brittany. We did our deep diving one, and at that point I was certified advanced. I was certified nearly a year after my open water, which is not so bad. I would say you might need to wait a little bit more to be really an advanced diver, but I had 17 dives, so not so bad. So I kept going back in Caribbean. So the next one is a bit special because I wanted to keep doing scuba diving and keep progressing. I, as a 15-year-old teenager, wanted to be a rescue diver. I asked Will, he said yes, you can do it. I did the emergency first response training, and then I did that dive and I literally just black out during this one. This was kind of hard for me because that was the first time I failed in something that I really thought was important for me. So the second day, as I told Will, I don't want to dive anymore. I'm done diving. And he told me, no, you have to go back in the water. So I dived the next day. I had to pull Mag out of the ice pit, which I did, but not that great. So I took 1 year to rethink my will of being a dive master, or at least a rescue diver. And that's us back in the Caribbean. We finally had the chance to go back in summer to do my rescue diver. I decided that I wanted to do that, so I came back, and I came in the Chorange cave. The fun fact is, inside the cave it's very, very cold, and outside you had a sunny day, very warm, so the difference of temperature was very funny. That was my final dive for the rescue diver. Actually, I did the session I couldn't do the last time. So I got my advance as certified in 2010, and I was happy with that. I told myself that I didn't want to be a dive master until I'm 18, because being a rescue diver implies that if something happened in the dive, you have to help. You have the knowledge to help, to assist the dive master. And then we went with my family in Sicilia. We had our private beach where we could dive, so that was awesome. And there were also Germans, so they told me a little sentence. I can't say it, sorry, but it says there, a dog come in the kitchen and stole an egg. I don't know why, but they tried to make us say that. It was funny, so I just wrote it because why not? That's what dive logs are for, to make memories. 1 year later, my parents decided to go to Malta. And Malta, if you don't know, is an archipelago with 3 islands. And we spent a week in Comino, which is an island where you have one hotel and not a lot of things to do, but you can dive. And that's where I met Ben. Honestly, I think that Malta is one of the best places in the world to dive. Because there were not enough divers in the dive center, I was supposed to go with the Gozo boat, but for some reason, I think the weather, they couldn't take me before the dive. So I had a coffee with Ben, and he asked me if I wanted to be a dive master. I said yes. And he offers me to come back the next year and to spend 2 or 3 months diving and do my dive master. And I was very happy, and 3 months later I met Nick. So I had to tell him that I was going to be for 3 months in Malta to dive, and he said yes, I'd love to join for about a week and try to do scuba diving. I'd never done. So yeah, that's the end of my first logbook. The 2 other are just less diving story. So I started that dive book in 2014 as I was training for dive master. These are all my diving that I did to be a dive master. As you can see, I used to draw some maps. That was my first dive guide that I did. I got lost apparently. I can't remember it. Hondoc. Still into my dive master course. This was my 100th dive. This was actually a night dive. I can't remember this one. This was a night dive. So this one, Ben was sick or off, something like that. So I went diving in Recapan with Dean, I think, if I can remember it. because the divers wanted to see big fish. So Breaker Point is a point in Gozo which is quite protected from the wind, and I think it was windy this day. And so we decided to dive here, and I was leading dive, and I arrived on the top point where there is plenty of fish. I turn around and there is this huge mola very slowly with so many fish around. And I remember just that's bigger than me. That was 2 or 3 times bigger than me, and that was amazing. That's also one of the best dive I've ever done. And yeah, that's the end of my dive number 3, sorry. So this was the end of August and I had to go back to school, so I left and I started this dive vlog that I don't really like because I only have a line. I can't just, the stamps are not just visible and you can't write so much things on, so I'm looking to find a new dive book. I came back the next year in Gozo to dive with Nicolas. So that's when we did the first video on this channel also. We went with a truck that we turned into a little home. And I think this was my first ever dive in Canada. It was in Kanawake, just to get certified to be able to dive in Quebec. So I hope you've loved this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Tell me in the comment section how long you've been diving for. I know you've liked a lot my scuba diving video because my last one is going to reach 500 views. So thank you very much. I'll try to put a scuba diving video once every month. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. I will do my best to answer it. I hope to see you next time. Bye!